it's me, Josh Lloyd, back with another Red Rock video. Today talking about the 2015 NBA Draft. Did a full draft recap YouTube video across on the RotoWire account, which you can check out over there. Myself, Kyle McEwen and Nick Brazzoni spoke for 2.5 hours recapping the NBA Draft. I am also turning that into a podcast. You can find that on my podcast feed, on iTunes, or on Stitcher to hear that whole thing. But now I'm just going to look through the top 7 guys who I think could have an impact in fantasy leagues next season. Now, not all of them are going to be relevant for standard leagues, but these are the top 7 guys I think are going, in terms of their value or their return next season. The number 1 guy I've got is Emmanuel Mudiay. I think that him drafted by Denver with a 7th pick, which I think was too late, means that Ty Lawson is out of there. Lawson actually put up a video saying, yeah, he's going to Sacramento. So I think that the fact that Lawson is out of there, someone's going to have to put up some numbers. Denver could be completely rebuilding. They generally run a pretty high pace to lineup, pretty high pace game. I think that Mudiay, he can score, he can rebound, he can assist, he can get some steals. His percentages aren't the greatest, but I think he's going to be probably the most impactful fantasy guy for next season. Jahlil Okafor perhaps surprisingly slipped past number 2 to the Philadelphia Sixers at number 3. I think it was a mistake by the Lakers, but I think that might be to do with maybe some upcoming trades. We will wait and see on that one as well. But Okafor in Philadelphia, he's going to score, he's going to get some rebounds, he doesn't block shots, he'll get some. He's not a bad passer, so he might get some assists. Not that there's many players that he can pass the ball to, that's another story. And he'll have a pretty good field goal percentage. A bad free throw percentage, no blocks, limited steals, no 3-pointers, limits his fantasy production, and it will limit his fantasy production throughout his career, but the minutes should be there. They're definitely going to be easing Joel Embiid into the season whenever he does return, whether that's at the start of the season, midway through, whether he sits out another year with his foot, who knows. Him and Nerlens Noel together should be interesting. One with a whole lot of defense and an improving but minimal offense with Noel. Okafor with no defense and an exceptional offense. I think Okafor will be a guy, he'll almost definitely get overdrafted next season, and I probably won't end up drafting him anywhere, but he's going to be a top producing fantasy rookie out of this class. At number 3 is D'Angelo Russell, and this was not an ideal situation for him from a fantasy point of view. He will have to battle Jordan Clarkson, and there will be Kobe Bryant there as well. Now, I do envisage at times that the Lakers will run Clarkson, Russell, and Bryant all on the court at the same time. The only issue with that is it's Byron Scott, so logic doesn't necessarily come into play. Common sense, good moves also don't come into play. So we could see Russell languishing, we could see Clarkson languishing on the bench, and that would severely hamper both of their fantasy value. In 2016-17, when Bryant is likely retired, Russell projects as a top 50 sort of talent. Because we don't know how it's going to play out at this point, and because the minutes are going to have to be split between these 3 guys, I don't know how high his value is going to be, and again, he'll likely be overdrafted, but he's a guy who hits threes and good percentages, really efficient, shoots the ball well, scores, rebounds, assists, gets steals. He's got all the makings of a terrific fantasy guy, and if he was at Philadelphia, he would have been the number 1 player. But because of this slight uncertainty and the fact that he needs the ball in his hand so much, as does Clarkson, as does Kobe, it makes me a little bit weary of what sort of impact he is going to have. At number 4 is Kristaps Porzingis. New York Knicks fans are not going to enjoy that. They booed him mercilessly. Any New York Knicks fans I've spoken to on Twitter did not like the pick, but I love it. I reckon Porzingis has got the potential to be a very, very impressive player. Who's taking minutes off him? Lou Amundsen, Quincy Acey? There's no one there. He's going to get minutes. If you heard Stephen A. Smith's rant about Porzingis, it shows a delusional man. But apart from that, it also shows that he doesn't know what he's really talking about. He said that Porzingis is 5 years away from being able to contribute. That's garbage. He'll be able to contribute pretty much straight away. He can score, he can get rebounds, he blocks shots, he hits threes. His percentage will be good both from the field and from the line. And the most important thing is there is nobody there to take minutes away from him. That could change in free agency, but at this point, there's no one there. And he's going to have to play 30 minutes a night, and he will likely put up big numbers. He put up big numbers playing in the 2nd best league in the world, playing against men in what amounts to basically his rookie season anyway. So I think that the Porzingis is the next on the list. At number 5, Karl-Anthony Towns. I think that he's clearly the best player in the draft. Doesn't mean he's going to have the best fantasy impact, because I think his minutes will be limited. I think about 27 minutes a night. Nikola Pekovic is there. He'll get still 21 to 25 minutes. Gorgie Jam will get minutes, Kevin Garnett will get minutes occasionally, Adrian Payne will get minutes, Shabazz Muhammad has to play some front court minutes as well. There's a number of guys there, they won't need to rush Towns. Now he is clearly the #1 dynasty player in this list of players. With his percentages, he can hit threes, rebounding, blocks, steals, scoring numbers. It's all fantastic, but I think that if he gets 27 minutes a night, and even that might be pushing it a bit, it's not going to be relevant, or not as relevant as these other players above him. Number 6 on my list is Jerian Grant of the New York Knicks. Much like Porzingis, who's competing with him? Jose Calderon's there, but Langston Galloway's the other guard. Grant is a better player than Galloway. He can contribute, he can play both guard spots. He can pass, he can rebound, he can score, he can shoot, he can play some defense. I really think that he's going to have an impact next season. It might be not an impact in standard leagues, but 14-team leagues, he will project as one of the better rookies, and definitely one that might slip under some people's guard. The last pick that I've got here, the 7th guy on my list, is Miles Turner in Indiana. Roy Hibbert is going to be marginalised most likely this season. David West has opted out of his contract. Turner's a guy who projects that when he gets things going, can have nice fantasy numbers. Great block numbers at Texas last season. He can hit threes, he can rebound, he can score, and give you a pretty decent field goal percentage. Now, almost no chances are going to be a standard league relevant guy, but I think he comes in next in terms of the relevant fantasy players or rookies for fantasy leagues. That's it. Let me know what you think, if you agree, disagree, someone you like better, worse, all that sort of stuff. Subscribe to this channel and check out the podcast where we did have this 2.5 hour long rambling discussion with myself, Kyle, and Nick, and you can also find that on the RotoWire YouTube page. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See ya.